and Fran here from Droneislife with a quick new product intro.
I thought I saw a light when you passed me by. The reason why I shine, you're the reason why. I thought I caught your eyes, but love is blind. I thought I saw you smile.
Get off my fucking land. Has he got a shotgun? Does he own a shotgun?
I don't know. I don't want to see it. Keep it cool, calm. Yeah, sorry, sir. Sorry.
Sorry, sir. Oh. Actually, no, I didn't think... We never saw him last time we were there, to be fair.
I've had an encounter there with Brims as well. We had to wait until he was herding the sheep all the way to the other side of the field, and we pegged it across. Yeah.
The first time you went there, Shane, it was you were already in, weren't you?
Yeah,
And
we were really inside.
before we got there.
And then he just... I think he stopped you from coming in, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, because there was someone else, wasn't there, and he was kind of arguing with him, so he was in a bad mood. And then we had no chance. We were like, can we not just go and like get our friends and tell them that we're here? And he's like, no, only one of you can cross the field. So
Oh, dear me.
anyway.
Anyway, we're live.
Woo!
Whoop, whoop.
Yes, we are. We are live.
So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to
blasting it out.
another episode of Droneislife Live. And if you haven't worked it out, Mr. Steele Davies is here.
Hey.
Whoop, whoop. And I can see, there's comments in the chat saying the suspense is freaking killing me.
What's suspense?
So yeah, we are all here, and obviously all the normal characters here. Kelsey's here,
Hello.
and Malk's here.
Hello.
Stephen's here. I
Good evening.
gotta stop calling you Steve because the wife gives me shit for it. James is here.
Hello.
Ashley's here for the first time.
Evening all.
And of course, Mr. Steele himself is here.
Woo!
I hate doing intros. I'm not very good at intros. But there we go. So, right, Steele, I need to get it out of the way because every guest we've had on for the last 2 or 3 weeks, without the rest of them knowing, there's been 3 questions I've asked throughout the show, have nothing to do with... Well, one has something to do with FPV, the other 2 don't, but it does judge your character very well.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is, out of all the FPV pilots in the world, who is the first one you want to bitch slap?
There's no violence in the FPV.
There's no violence in this show. Nurk was very
slap.
honest. Yeah, I'll give you a clue. Nurk was very honest, and he said Vanover.
Damn, that's a good one. I'm trying to think because, like, I could choose someone that's more well known because they're obnoxious and it might, like, whatever, give their vibe a little bit more credibility.
Might be me by the end of the show. You never know.
Or I could be. It could be some asshole that fucking like comments on my YouTube that I hate that I've blocked many times or something like that. But I can't think of anybody's names right now, so I'm gonna have to go with somebody that I know.
Something that's forgiving.
I wouldn't say all the time, but maybe just one good slap occasionally to Vanover.
Oh,
That's
really?
a great one. That's a great one. Because he gets real cocky.
He does.
He's a cool kid, but like sometimes it's like it's like Luke Bannister way back in the day when all of a sudden he went from being like this innocent kid to like someone that essentially grew up into an adult within like a year. He's like, you call him or talk to him, and like before he was like, "Hey guys, what are you doing? FPV, FPV, FPV." And then like 6 months later, it was like, "Oh mate, I'm fucking in this room like trashed with it." Like, I don't even know. Hanging out with girls in the corner. So yeah, Vanover hasn't hit that point yet. He's still like innocent FPV, but he's got a cocky side to him. So when he gets that cocky edge, and then, yeah,
That's brilliant.
Well, you got to be honest. You got to be honest. Right, question number 2 then. Best chat up line.
Chat up line.
Yeah.
Like pickup line. Like
yeah,
you
pretty
walk up
much.
to a chick.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you Nurk's answers to them. He went for Joey's standard response from friends, which is the "How you doing" sort of thing. Surely you've got to have something better than that.
I don't have a go-to pickup line ever. I don't just roll up on chicks and like pick them up. Usually it's pretty like organic, and I'm just like, "Hey."
There it is. There it is.
I think "hey" is my pickup line. I don't have anything specific.
Right motion as well. Hey.
Yeah, smooth.
I don't have pickup lines anymore. I'm married. Damn. Right, and this the third question. This defines you completely to whether people will be still your friend after your answer or not. What's your
right?
Yeah? What's your feeling about pineapple on pizza?
I like it.
Yeah, yes.
No.
I am not alone.
There is a time and a place.
I don't have a problem with it, but I also I've been vegetarian for 10 years, and I have a pretty broad palate for just obscure taste, and cheese is kind of like a delicacy. I mean, to me, like, I don't really go out of my way. It's not something that I crave, but when I get to eat it, you know, and pizza is something that I just end up like throwing the kitchen sink at, I think would be the term. Like if it looks healthy to me, and it's obviously pizza, which is not healthy, I'm going to try to justify the fact that I'm eating bread and cheese. So I'm just like, like throwing shit at it. So it might have like broccoli and garlic and pineapple and red pepper and onion and just like a bunch of random shit that no one would ever think would go together. But because it's like nutrients in my brain, I'm like, it tastes pretty good.
I don't know why, but pineapple in pizza is always a key. The last time somebody put a post on Facebook and said to me, "What?" They just said, pineapple and pizza. What do you think? And I put, "Love it. Ham and pineapple pizza. Absolutely love it." And I got a reply from them just saying, "I don't think we can be friends anymore."
See, this is what's wrong with the world today. People think that they have to pick red or blue, and they got a side. There is a gray area, all right? You can fucking be in the middle. You can not like pizza with pineapple on it, and you can still be friends with people that have pizza with pineapple on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like carrots in cake. Do you like carrot cake?
Carrots. I love carrot cake.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have a problem with food. Food is like the last thing that you're gonna get me with. Like if someone's like, "Oh, do you like this?" Unless it's like bratwurst or something that I don't eat, then yeah, I'm probably gonna say I like it.
So you didn't expect to get these sort of questions when you came on here this evening, did you?
Oh, I don't expect anything, so I was completely ready for whatever you got to throw, except the pickup line one. That one, I don't know what to say about that one.
No one can prepare for that question.
No, but we've done it on.
It's really random.
If you look back over the last 2 weeks of shows, then everybody has had those questions.
Oh.
You've given the cat's out of the bag now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
the next person's going to be prepared. They're going to show up with some Brad Pitt line out of like, I don't know, sick ass movie, or some really great like Deadpool line or something.
Yeah, true.
Some Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Right, so let's get down to some FPV. Now, 4.5 years ago when I started, there were a couple of people online that got me into the hobby. So, i.e., you, Sharpoo, Paul, who we had on the other day. So, I want to know what got you hooked on the hobby.
I mean FPV, TBS, but like mini quads was like Boris B, that Ryzen dude, Blackout, the drunk, Boris B, and eventually Sharpoo. But Sharpoo was more of a target for me rather than like an inspiration. Like at the time that I found out about Sharpoo, like I had seen him in forums.
Right.
And I was a little skeptical because I would see this Sharpoo name and he would ask her like really intense questions. And then people would answer and then you'd never see him again. So he would like get the answer and then never kind of contribute back. And I was like, what is this guy doing? Like, who the fuck is this guy? And then I started seeing his videos and I'm like, well, this guy knows what the hell he's doing. And I've always been skeptical about like what I consider to be a talented pilot, but Sharpoo is just really good at making everything FPV look amazing, especially 5-6 years ago. I mean, he would spend months trying to get this one shot, and when he got it, it was like the most epic thing ever. And that's really what made him popular, where the longer and longer people start flying, the more you got to stand out, and anybody can just go throw money at something until they get the desired result. But I think eventually it got to a point where you had to be like doing raw videos to really show skill. If you want to just go fly and throw money at it and like get one epic shot, then cool, anybody can do that. But to show skill, to me, I've always like kind of stuck towards the raw stuff. But Sharpoo was definitely somebody that I was aiming for back then. It's like, I got to be better than this guy, but I got to show how I can be better than him. And the only way to do that is to do what he does, but do it in one battery. That's the only way I thought to be as good.
Are you still in contact with Carlos?
Not like on a super regular basis, but when I posted a black screen to support like the whole Black Lives Matter thing a couple weeks ago, or I guess a week ago now, it seems like it's been a couple weeks, but he like rolled up in those comments and started melting people's faces. So maybe that was like a hot topic for him, but he was like rolling up in those things. And there was same with like other chicks. There's like a chick I met in the airport like 5 years ago. She just came out of nowhere. Line? What was the pickup line? She picked me up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she just rolled up behind me. Was like, hey, what's that do? Because I had a fucking mini quad on my back.
And who said that mini quads don't get you laid?
Yeah. She was from the UK, so it was pretty cool. She had a couple whippets. She was super stereotypical.
Oh.
You think we all own whippets?
No. But everything else in her house, it was like I was in some kind of UK style house. All of her things that she had around the home were not typical American. They were very, very much
stereotypical
English.
Someone's put in the chat, damn lesbians. Oh dear. Because
I called Banny out.
Shots fired.
He can still outfly me, but he may have more girl situations than I do. I'm fucking old, man. I don't like to go out and party anymore.
I don't know, because the last time I met Banny, he had been introduced to alcohol.
Well,
and
that's the same.
And every night he was just like by like 11 o'clock at night, he's just face down in whatever table food he was at, and he's just so cold. So I don't think he had much of a love life because he's just paralytic.
Well, eventually you just fall on something. Maybe it's a human, could be a female at some point.
No, that's wrong. I get so many bad images now going through my head.
Stop, Shane, stop.
Okay, no, because the last time we did it, I think James was with him. Were you in Tokyo or something?
Hey, what happens in Korea stays in Korea, mate.
Did you guys buy some used panties out of a vending machine?
Not that I was aware of, no.
Maybe Banny fell onto the fucking...
Bunny wouldn't have remembered if he
planted the thing.
He wouldn't have remembered if he bought anything like that. Jesus Christ. Oh, dear. Right, so... I'm going to the beginning as much as possible, but 2015 Drone Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's old school, man.
Yeah, that is old. But there was a gathering in the park afterwards, and as far as I can remember, if I get this right, it was you, Chad Novak, Sharpoo, Tommy, oh my god, Trappy, Mr. Clean Flight, and RC Manchild, maybe?
Yep.
And you, after the...
P-Shaw.
Yeah.
Fucking, all-wheel drive quads. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a full-on gathering of like greats at the time.
Yeah, it was the Who's
OG crew.
Yeah.
I don't think Stingy was there at that time. I don't
No,
think
he
he was
that
on the
point.
scene then, was he?
Yeah, I don't think he even flew FPV at that point. He
Yeah.
flew RC, I think, but he wasn't in the whole mini quad space yet.
No, because that video on YouTube absolutely blew up. Oh, Banny's in the chat. Just letting
Yeah. People were putting Fs in there a little while ago for his head planning the panty machine.
He says, bear in mind, these are after parties. It's just gone mad now. So yeah, I mean that video you posted on YouTube of that flying session just absolutely went mad because it was
in the space it did, I think. And at the time it was kind of a dream come true. It was like what I imagined Rotor Riot was before Rotor Riot was a thing. Like just like the pivotal best people in the industry getting together and having fun, and like it organically kind of took place because there were so many situations going on during that event. And I'm sure you guys are aware, when you go to a drone event, there's always like little subcultures that happen, and like people don't like certain groups. And then there's one group that like everybody wants to be a part of, but that group doesn't want anybody else to be a part of it. That was just kind of like, we had been split the whole weekend. Everybody was in their own groups because maybe whether they were rooming with somebody, or one person would get dragged off into a group because maybe Get FPV was there and they pulled Carlos aside to take him to dinner, or Impulse was there, or not Impulse, Immersion RC was there and they were dragging Chad Nowak or something. Like it was always someone getting pulled. But that last day we just were like, all right, Chad and I kind of made it happen. We were like, we're gonna go to this park, only these people are invited. That's it. It was super secret, and people just rolled up there, and Carlos showed up, and that's where the power loop was invented. Like that's a fucking serious thing. Like he literally, like I was watching in the goggles and he went through an awning and was just like, I was like, what is he gonna do? He just full throttle and he's blind, he can't see shit. And then he crashed, but like the concept for the power loop, he said, I want to do it and it's a power loop, but I haven't done it yet. And then that's obviously the inception of, the idea was put into my brain, and then everybody else saw it, and it was just like over at that point.
Yeah, I mean, like every pilot we have on here, we normally ask them what they fly, but we know what you're already flying. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, apparently I fly old, outdated gear that hinders me, useless. Right?
Let's see it. Have you got your latest rig or whatever you're flying at the moment?
Yeah, let me show you this.
Brings out Mavic.
So pop out some iFlight thing.
Fancy.
Cicada.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah, go on.
Go for it.
This is the best quad ever.
I knew it.
Is it a big beater FPV little thing or something, is it?
Yeah, well, in America, they made all these rules where you can't even fly 100-gram quad. So this is the one that I have to fly now.
100-gram quad. What?
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm full of shit. Even if they did make some rules, I'm going to fucking fly 5-inch. Yeah, it's honest. Like, I haven't flown a 5-inch in a couple days because I've been making videos about these things. Because I don't know why, but I got motivated to reintroduce the How to FPV series that I made a few years ago.
Yeah.
And just kind of, try to teach as many people as possible the basics of what they should probably be doing if they're getting into FPV, because there's so much clutter on the internet. And this hobby is extremely complex. Like, not everybody is going to have the attention span or bandwidth to be able to accept all of the information that they're trying to gather. And honestly, you get bored, and eventually it's like trying to learn how to build your own PC or something. Like, who do you take seriously, or who do you take's word for it? Or like, what components do you do, just because there's so many things out there? I mean, obviously there are staples, but someone's going to say, oh, don't buy that because it's the main brand and this one's better, and like you can overclock this. And it's the same thing with FPV, except even more hard, or even harder, because now you have random people that are influenced one way or develop certain products, and everyone's kind of like taking that with a grain of salt, but not at the same time. They're like, well, why is this guy invested in this so hard? Or is he making money off these affiliate links? Or is he trying to push something down my throat because he's associated with it? And that's ultimately what I try to stay away from, because at the moment you start jamming shit down people's throat is the moment that they'd lose interest. Like, I don't want someone to tell me to buy something. If I see a single commercial on YouTube, I will freak out and just turn it off and walk away from it. And that's why I have to pay for YouTube Premium. But even if those, like, you know, now people are integrating ads into their videos.
Oh yeah.
So like the first minute goes on, and then they're like, and now our sponsor, and it's like a 2-minute fucking dumbass spiel of there's some stupid. I freak out if I'm like across the room and that shit comes on. I will drop whatever the hell I'm doing, run over there and fast forward that shit. I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't want to hear about it. All right. If you want me to take your shit seriously, I get it that you have to pay the bills, but I hate that way of like getting around the system and like putting in your own advertisement. And I've kind of tried to hold off from that as long as I possibly can. I get deals all the time. People are like, hey, we want you to do this for whatever, this shave group, and we'll give you X amount of razors a month, and all you got to say is like a 30-second ad, and we'll pay you. And I'm like, nah, fuck
So
that.
when's your Squarespace ad coming out?
Nope.
Yeah.
Fuck Squarespace, fuck VPNs, fuck all that shit.
Someone's put honey. Isn't honey
Oh yeah, honey are
Oh
paying.
man,
Oh.
see the-
Oh
Yeah.
no, I'm thinking of a different website.
No,
Yeah,
honey's
RedTube.
right. Yeah.
No, there's. I'm thinking of Love Honey.
Yeah, that's a different one.
And that's like it's like a sex toy.
Don't Google it, folks in the chat. Just leave it alone.
I'm such a ripping now. It's unreal.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, obviously, you fly Kiss FC like almost 100% of your time, except for the beta that you just popped up. I was gonna say, when was the last time you tried Betaflight or Flight 1?
Well, Flight 1, I've flown once ever, and it was in France like 3+ years ago. So I have no idea what Flight 1's all about. I just have always had a bad taste in my mouth from just the idea of Flight 1 and who's behind it. And also all the shady shit that's gone on behind closed doors with that company. So I just kind of stay away from it. And not that I'm objective towards whether or not it's a great flight controller or something, but there's just always been some shady shit. And I don't like to associate with shady ass fucking people. So I try to, limit my contact with people that I consider to be shady. And unless it's for like entertainment, but if I'm, business wise, I don't like to associate with people. And I mean, close friends of mine, like Schizo, for example. I mean, he works with Raceflight or has worked with Raceflight and has had all these weird falling outs and arguments with people and behind the scenes. And I've known like 3 or 4 pilots that are, well known. I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but like big race pilots that were, on DRL and whatnot. And they've had all these situations where they get fucked over by this person, and I don't want to deal with that. I don't want anybody else to have to deal with that. So I try to just say, you know what? The only way to sort this problem out is to kind of let it dissolve itself away. Some things have come from race flight. It's probably great. I just don't care to associate with it.
Okay. On the subject of Jonathan, he needs to get in contact with me because we started a chat about him coming on and he's disappeared. So if he's around,
Jonathan.
Answer my bloody email.
He didn't even answer text message. You can have his phone number and give him a call. He'll never answer.
Maybe if I call him Shitso.
No,
He'll
that's
answer.
already
Come on.
it's already a thing.
I know it's a
You can
thing. I
go
saw
find
the video. Shitso.
Shit. But as far as the last time I flown Betaflight, the only experience I have with it, other than these beta quads, is these beta quads. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
And
And they fly pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. Like they fly well. I've dialed in the rates to where it feels very much like a 6-inch quad, or I mean a 5-inch quad. So I noticed like with the smaller stuff, I kind of anticipate it's gonna fly like crap anyways. So when it does fly fairly well, I
You're surprised.
kind of I give it a little bit more credit because it flies well.
Because like,
I think the Beta 95 is like, I don't know, that's my favorite little quad. If I had to pick a quad, I think out of these ones, I have the Beta 85, Beta 95, the Beta 65, and the newbie drone one. If I had to pick two, I would pick the newbie drone and the Beta 85. Or sorry, 95. The newbie drone one. And the reason because the newbie drone one is because it's 1S and it weighs so little, you can't hurt it. You can just like crash it into anything and it doesn't care. And then the 95 is so much like a 5-inch quad that it really, there's no reason to get anything smaller, I don't think. Because if you can't fit through it with an 85, you're not going to fit through it with a 95 and vice versa.
Has the 95 got the cowling on it? Has it got the?
Yeah, it does.
It
I mean,
has,
I guess you can take that off and chop some people's faces. It's a little more dangerous. It's a little more dangerous than something like this. If you put the props on backwards on this, it's just going to make a noise. It's not going to fly up and kill you.
Yeah.
James loves like tiny whoops and stuff. We like from last October up until Christmas, we were doing tiny whoop racing down in Cornwall, and then every time we spend the whole day racing 5-inch quads, right? And then 8 o'clock in the evening, we would then start racing tiny whoops, and every time he had his first battery, it'd land after his first race and he'd pick it up, throw it in his bag and something like that. Flies like shit. Every time.
Little tiny whoops, and they do my head in.
Yeah, they do. They fly. I mean, I don't know. The new brushless ones fly pretty well. You have a brushless one?
Yeah. I've got the 85X and the little 65 brushless.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're underpowered, and I don't know. I seem to be able to get them to fly like a zero mass 5-inch quad. So it comes down to the rates. I usually just leave the PIDs stock these days. Betaflight's pretty good out of the box. But the rates is really what makes a difference. If you get the rates dialed in, then it makes a huge difference. So
what kind of numbers on the rates are you looking for your pitch and roll?
Let me look, because I have it right here. Because I made a video on it. It'll be out tomorrow, where I show all the rates and whatnot. Oh shit, they're not on this computer. I might have a picture on my phone, but I want to say it's like 1.7 on RC rate. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, 1.4. This is for the 95 and the 85. So these are bigger quads, but I have 1.4 on RC rate on pitch and roll, 1.2 on yaw, and then 0.75 straight across the board on super rate and expos at 25. So
0.25 is that on expo?
Yeah. So it gives you about 1100 degrees per second on roll and pitch, and about 960, but it's super controllable. Like if you want to do a roll, you can do it, but you don't, like, you're going to be super controllable because you have that expo in the middle.
Yeah.
And yet people are like, oh, you don't need expo, you can run it in super rate. But I find it to be a lot more ridiculous to handle if you do it strictly with super rate. Where if you dial it in with super rate and RC rate to a certain point, and then you're like, oh, this is a little too twitchy, and then you fluff it up with some expo, then it seems to be better, in my opinion, at least. And then the little guy, I have one. This is like the Acro B thing. It's 1.35, 1.35, 1.2, 0.73, 0.73, 0.65, and then 25 expo. And it's the same thing. It's about 1,000 degrees per second, but because it's smaller, it spins faster. So it's like the same rate, even though the degrees per second is kind of an arbitrary number.
Yeah.
I don't know. Rates is so much more of a thing than PIDs anymore. People don't take rates. They don't take rates as seriously as they should. Like I can go up to like any new drone pilot, take the detent out of their throttle gimbal and set up their rates, and they'll exponentially get better within 5 minutes. Like,
I suppose, yeah, it's much more control, less twitch.
it's like driving with one eye and one arm or some shit like that. Like, oh, I don't know, I can't see, there's no depth perception. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, I got control over this now. So, I mean, rates and having your gear properly set up hardware-wise is a huge thing, especially the controller and the goggles. If you don't have video, you can't fucking fly. So
yeah.
My rates are so slow for my freestyle. They're like 550 degrees pitch and roll.
Man, you must have to go to the moon to do a roll.
No, it's not that bad. What's up? And actually, it's on a frame.
Dude, that laptop is dead.
Oh yeah, my cat is just like, he's all over it.
It's loving it. It must be on or something. It's nice and warm.
No, it's not on. It's not on at all.
All right.
He's there all
The
day.
heat coming in from the window.
Yeah.
Loving it.
So my freestyle frame, Steve, is
An alien, yeah.
It's an alien. Now this alien I've had since,
let me see the bottom of that thing.
Since I started following you. So this is an original.
Why do you have the spacing like standoff things on the flight controller? Those are supposed to disperse weight evenly on like the outer bolt screws for the arms.
It's been like don't judge me.
Sort it out, Shane. Sort it out.
Don't judge me. I mean, this is like 2.5 years old. It's had like 18 arms, 3 bottom plates, 6 top plates, new bolts 4 times everything, but it's the same frame.
It's the same quad.
Yeah.
It's the same quad.
Yeah, I had a Apex earlier that was like super prototype, probably pushing 2 years old now. And I had a motor fly off the other day and like spin up, and it caused the ESC to short out, and it like basically burned the thing to the ground. So unfortunately, the frame is still good, but it smells like cancer. So I just said fuck it, and I left it outside. And I built a new quad last night. But that's the first time I've had to build a quad for myself as a freestyle quad in a while. But I have some aliens that are still solid. I got like 3 of them that I've literally flown hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of flights on.
Yeah, this thing, it's got your PDB on it. It's still got the Mr. Steele PDB in there. But version 2,
rare.
Yeah, version 2.
Yeah.
It's got the KISS FCF V2, and it's been upgraded from the 24 amp race ESCs to the 25.
Ooh, snazzy.
The little nuggets.
Yeah.
Are you running 4S though?
Yes.
Yeah. So that'll be fine. If you were to run 6S, you have to put caps on them. That's kind of the only reason I went to the 4-in-1, because I didn't want to run caps.
Yeah, and then obviously these are the V3 silk motors.
I haven't even flown. Well, I have flown those, but I haven't flown them in a long time.
What do you mean? They're your bloody motors.
No, I flew them in prototype stage, but it was literally like, yeah, these are good.
It wasn't. Shit like that.
I spend a lot more time on my 6S stuff, and then you just change the KV and change the magnets, and it makes 4S good. It's kind of the formula that I've been going with, just because 6S needs a little bit more, so you got to spend a little bit more time because it's harder to tune. 4S is pretty easy these days.
Yeah, I've got we've got one of my the stream should be coming back up. There's a ginormous thunderstorm going through.
Oh, that's typical.
I'm kind of hoping it was delayed, but the stream's back up, so we're all good. I was just sat here chatting away, and I was like, oh yeah, it's going well, sort of thing, and I'm just like buffering. So, what? But yeah, there is a monster thunderstorm coming through at the moment, and it literally just took out the internet completely.
Digital, man.
Shane, you might want to fix your stream. You're showing your desktop and stuff.
Oh, look, there's Pornhub tabs and stuff going on up there. What's going on?
Click and buy.
Extra small flashlight.
What? For God's sake,
Kelsey, cover your ears.
saying that, I don't think. No, there's nothing on my. There's nothing on my links that are dodgy.
Well, let me have to check though.
I'm freaking checking, but I'm checking. There's nothing. So yeah, sorry about that. Obviously the chat.
You were saying something about a sponsored pilot in York, and I didn't.
Oh yeah. But Jamie down in Cornwall wants to know how much does it cost to have you personally build him an Apex and sign it and send it.
Dollar bills, yo.
Well, it used to cost $1,100 US, which is like $10 for you guys. So,
Up to.
but so yeah, I last year I made those. Obviously, the parts cost $600. And I had a bunch of people that wanted them. They're like, "Hey, I want you to build me a drone exactly how you do." And I was like, "Well, all right, whatever, but you're gonna pay for it because I have to fucking order the parts and sit down and build it." And like at the time when I first started building quads, like for people, I was doing aliens, and it would take me 5 to 6 hours to build one.
Holy shit!
And
it took me like 2 days to build my first one.
Well, I've done a lot, right? So I know how to do it. And I mean, it's a lot of like customization and shit. Like I got to build the Immortal L, and I got to. Back in the day, you had to solder each individual ESC. The 4-in-1s kind of made it a lot easier. But now it takes me about 2.5 hours to build an Apex. But yeah, I was charging $1,100 plus shipping, depending on where you go. Like I had some guys, a lot of guys actually in Europe and Asia, and now it's like $70 in shipping just because. I don't know why. It's just ridiculous. I mean, shipping in general has gone up significantly, and that would be like slow boat. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's for somebody special, then I'm willing to work with them. But if it's just like some random person that wants a quad, then that's the price. Because I don't want to just sit here and build quads all day. That's not what I do.
No, he was. I literally said that. So you're gonna fly it, right? And he's like, no, it's just gonna hang on my wall.
So it was funny. The first alien I ever built. So I built a couple and like sold them under the table, like to people. And then the moment that I posted it, that I was selling a quad, I think I put it up for, I think it was $1,000 or something. No, it was the one that when I built the first alien and I put the Hello Kitty skin on it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
This was like, I don't know, V2 motors or something, and it was like a kind of an updated Mr. Steele alien. Anyways, I put it up for like $1,300 or some shit, and everybody freaked out. Everybody cried. It was like, everybody's got these little chats in their own little area. So like this section of, Australia might have a chat. This section of Asia has a chat. This Californian chat. And all these people just were popping off on how overly ridiculously it was priced. And then in this, they're like, who would pay that for a stupid quad? It's only worth like $600 or $700. And then Chad Nowak was specifically going really apeshit about the price and how I feel like I have the nerve to charge that kind of money for a quad. And then it's funny because his buddy Tristan just fucking bought it, posted the receipt in that chat, and just left.
Just dropped the receipt and walked off.
Yeah, he got it. And like
dropped.
Fucking, he got it, flew it like 3 or 4 times. Then he said, "No, I just hang it up on the wall. Like it's like a memorabilia piece now." Yeah. You gotta fly it though. Like I've had a couple conversations recently. Like tonight, I'm gonna have a conversation on my YouTube channel with BMS Web. We're gonna have Thomas and Paul, or I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna have Thomas and Paul on, and we're gonna talk about digital and analog, because I posted a video yesterday about digital and analog, and it kind of stirred up a lot of shit because there's so many new pilots getting into FPV that are all just straight up going digital, and they don't kind of know what analog's all about. And then everyone's saying, "Oh, you're invested in analog, that's why you're suggesting go analog." And I got a lot of great points to point out, but at the same time, like an analog drone It's just something that once you have it dialed in, it just kind of is an extension of you. Whether or not digital is going to take over, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, oh, right. Before we go any further, we need some serious questions. I know Stephen's got some questions for you, and I can kind of, I can see him itching there. He's been on the chat with me like all week. Are you going to ask him this? Are you going to ask him that? I'm like,
yeah. I mean, you can go ahead.
Yeah,
you guys ask me because I fucking ramble for days. So just ask me one question.
The one everybody's been asking me, Steele, is the FX LTD build mats. When are we going to see them?
They're right here.
They're never coming, are they?
No.
Oh no.
I mean, the problem is there's no reason to make it. Like there's
no. I know.
I could make it, but it would take like months to R&D and get the right material, and I wouldn't be happy with it, and it's just like a waste of time. I think because shipping on something like that, it's like usually made of silicone or something like that, and it's heavy, it rolls up, it's pretty big, it's like hard to ship. It's just like, what are you going to sell that for? $15, and you got to ship it, and that costs $20. It's kind of it's a hard product, I think.
That's like,
it's not necessarily.
That's like when you did your ethics charger box.
Oh yeah,
that never came to light either, did it? It just never happened.
No, I personally bought 25 of them. They cost me $325 to buy. I sold them for $3.99, and people lit me up about how I was overcharging. Like literally, I'm making a shit margin for all of this work, all this money that I put up front out of my own pocket. It was like 10 grand or something. I put up, or not 10 grand. I think it was like 5 grand. I bought these things. I got them to my house. I had to pay shipping to get them there. Like each individual unit ended up costing me like $330 or something. And then I had to box them up. I had to facilitate all of the sales, and I was making like $60 on top, like at the end of the day per box. Like overall, out of 25 boxes, I was making a couple $100 or something like that, like maybe $1,000. It's just not fucking worth it. Like I can make a YouTube video and make that, and left like not that much, but YouTube I make nothing. YouTube I make nothing. I make like $1,000 a month.
Liar.
Which is shit. But yeah, it was just not worth my time, and people were crying about the price. They're like, "Why don't you make it $200 and it'll be a lot more affordable?" I'm like, have you seen these things? This is like the most advanced, smallest package for a charger you're ever going to get ever. So that's kind of the motto with ethics, is like we try to make the best quality, most refined thing for a reasonable price, but it's not always reasonable to most people. But I think people thought that it was just like an iCharger stuck into a box, and you needed to, even though it had a power supply and like all these voltage regulators and LEDs and fans, and it was just like a really cool package, but whatever.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Go on, Steve.
Next.
Anybody, go for it.
Right, okay. So a couple of years back, you started this FPV van trip.
Yeah.
Where did the inspiration come from that?
The inspiration?
Yeah. Where did you come up with the idea of going to do that? Spending all your free time building out the van, doing all those things, and then deciding which states, cities you were going to travel to.
I mean, at the time, like van life was kind of getting a little bit more popular as far as people actually living in vans. And I've always wanted to do like a really big FPV tour, but it's just really hard to facilitate like a bunch of people to do that. So I was just like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And also I was going through like a rough time in life, and I wanted to do something. I think that's how everybody gets doing something new. They're like, I need to change, and they take on a new hobby. And I'm pretty bad about like going real far into stuff. Like I don't just like scrape the surface. Usually I'm like, oh, now I need to know about this. Nope, I need to know about that. I need to know about this. I need to know about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's kind of helped a lot. Like I use that van a lot for work. Like I'm gonna drive it to Miami tomorrow and do some jobs down there. Well, not quite Miami, Sarasota. I'm going to the Freedom Factory. This guy named Cletus McFarlane that does YouTube videos about cars and shit. Go chase some drift cars down there.
Nice.
even though that's probably the most played out thing in the world. It's going to be a live stream, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, very good.
I think everybody's done following drift cars lately, haven't they? I think it became a trend, and it's just everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's saturated.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about it. Rotor Riot.
Okay.
Because kind of made you. I would say it kind of made you bigger than you already are just by being part of Rotor Riot.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, Shinobo.
Okay.
You went. And was it as easy to get there as the video makes it out to be, or is there a lot of hoops to jump through, or massive amounts of paperwork, or complications on the way?
I don't think flying drones would be that easy. Like, it just kind of happened for us because we had people that were fans of the show that were kind of high up in government there, so they were able to pull some strings and get the drone thing working, or maybe even lie to the government and say that it's not what it is. And I don't know. Like, I don't know exactly how the drone thing happened, but if you want to go to like Ukraine and go to Kiev and then take a trip up to Chernobyl, like that's pretty easy to do. Like, you could do that probably just as easy as you could go to like the Great Wall of China. Just maybe with a little bit more money, because you got to hire a guide. You can't just like roll up in there.
Right. Okay. And one episode there was you crashed your quad in the top bucket of the wheel, yeah?
Yeah.
Who was the guy that went and got it? Was it just a loco?
Loco or local?
Oh, here we go.
Local.
He was a dude named Jim. That probably wasn't his real name, but he was like there's a lot of transplants that, come in and just decide that they want to live inside the exclusion zone because it's essentially free. I mean, you have housing. I don't know where the hell they get food, but I'm sure they're living off of, what they can go and get and scrounge up out of town when they're nearby. But again, I don't know, because it's like a 30-kilometer range from the inside to the outside of the exclusion zone. But within the exclusion zone, there's like a cafe and, a lot of people that work in there on a daily basis. So maybe they just befriend some people and pay them to give them food or something. I don't know how it works, but he lived in the exclusion zone with his girlfriend, and he was just there. He was like friends with our guide, and the guide, we were, going to the Olympic pool or whatever, the like gym, which has the very, very known Olympic pool.
Yeah.
The one with the diving board and stuff. And we were sitting outside there, and this guy just rolled up, and we had seen him the day before, like when I crashed into it, because I was like ready to climb up there, and I had climbed up the center there's like a ladder basically to the center of the wheel, and I was standing up there, and the guide came over and he's like, hey, this was our first day. So he was like, hey, don't do that today, because if you get caught, then we won't be able to come back for 2 days. So if you're going to do it, then like do it on the last day. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I came down, and I was kind of pissed. I was going to have to leave my quad up there. Anyways, that guy came up to me later and was like, hey, I'll climb up there and get it. And I was like, okay, can I pay you? And he's like, I mean, if you want, whatever. I've always wanted to climb up there, and now I have an excuse to. So I was like, okay, well, I'll give you some money. He's like, I was like, how much do you want? He's like, I don't know, $20. I was like, okay. So we gave him like $600-700, well, probably $1,000 worth of cameras, and we're like, film it. So he could have just left and like never seen any. We could have never seen him again with $1,000 worth of cameras and gotten the drone and had another GoPro. But he was trustworthy, and he came back and had filmed the whole situation and had a head mount on. Like, I gave him my head strap and my GoPro, and Chad Capper gave him a handy cam, and his girlfriend filmed it from the ground. So it's pretty intense.
Did you scan your head cam afterwards for like radiation when it came back?
It's funny to talk about that.
Did it glow green at nighttime?
No, at the time we were really afraid. Like, right when we got there, we were very afraid. Like, I had done a lot of research in Chernobyl, just the disaster and the surrounding area and all the effects that it had on Europe, and especially that surrounding area like Kiev. I have done a lot of research on that in past years, and then I had really refreshed my knowledge on it and kind of dove a little bit more in detail, like probably 6 months up until the point where we left for that trip. But when you get there and you have like these Geiger counters and dosimeters and they're making all kinds of noise just because it's like higher levels than ambient temperature or ambient radiation levels, it's kind of a weird, eerie scare. You don't really know how to take it because you're like, I don't feel anything, but this machine is telling me that I'm dying, basically. So it's kind of scary. And then you think about breathing dust, and we first spot the first place we stopped other than the checkpoints was we stopped right in front of the reactor, got off the bus, and all these big trucks are driving by and all this dust is like flying up in the air and shit. And the dosimeters and our Geiger counters are just like freaking like pegging out. I mean, in reality, you can obviously adjust the threshold of what is considered dangerous, but obviously if you're, the one that we had was super advanced, and it's used to essentially scan like bananas to see if they're a little bit more radioactive than they should be, so you're talking like extreme minute increments, and this thing was like 5 or 6 times ambient normal radiation levels, but still the noise is like what gets you, and you're like trying not to breathe because you don't want to breathe in any dust. And but literally within like an hour we were like, whatever, let's go fucking jump in the woods over there and crash. And like no one cared. So
because the one person that was utterly pissed that you got your quad back was Chad. Chad was so upset that you've messed up, and
I think
you got your footage back.
I didn't make him lose a quad, but I kind of instigated him losing a quad at one point. And every quad that I've had that has been in like a real sketch, like possibly not attainable place, I always get it back.
do you still speak to Chad now, or not?
I haven't spoken to him in about a year, I would say. We kind of like touched base, and we met up in California in 2017 when he came here. He was dating a girl here in California, and we met up and kind of got our friendship at least neutral. And he kind of doesn't do FPV stuff, at least in this realm anymore, as far as being a part of this community. So the only reason that I've interacted with him was either through like another person, like that Michael Rollins dude asked me a question that Chad asked, and like that was kind of a back and forth, but I never spoke to him directly, so I haven't spoken to Chad in a long time.
Why did you lose contact? Why did you sort of break up, sort of thing? Sounds like a relationship, doesn't it?
Chad and I were very close. I think, just to be straight up blunt about it, like I kind of caused the whole rotor riot disturbance, like in the beginning, like when rotor riot was growing and got to a certain point. And like at some point I was like, guys, we're doing this to build someone else's business, and we're getting nothing out of this, all of us.
You never got paid for rotor riot?
No,
really?
Never. Not a single dollar was ever sent to me directly for payment from Rotor Riot. There was like, hey, we'll pay for your trip, or hey, we'll, instigate this thing that might get you some money, but there's never like direct out of Chad Capper's wallet paying me for compensation for what I did for Rotor Riot, which I don't have, like, I'm not trying to bring that up, but that was something that, I was pretty adamant about. I'm going to continue to do this, and I had been doing it for almost 2 years at that point. I should probably be getting compensated because I'm 27 years old or 26 years old. I make less than $20,000 a year, and I'm traveling the world for free and building this business for somebody that ultimately will be worth something at some time. And I'm getting nothing out of it other than the fact that I might get something in some point. So obviously that didn't happen because everybody got fucked. Literally. No one that was a part of Rotor Riot is around anymore, and all of them don't fly anymore. And they probably got burnt out at the fact that they did so much for so long and then didn't get shit out of it.
That's a shame. That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Who was in Rotor Riot still flies? other than Tommy and myself.
Is Stingy still flying?
He works, but he doesn't fly on YouTube anymore. He doesn't make videos. I mean, he makes a couple, but like not like he was.
No.
Not even close.
See,
He
I'm
was
not
doing the live streams, wasn't he, for Hops and Props
Yeah.
on a Sunday night. He used to do that and get like up and coming FPV pilots showing off their like new footage and whatever.
Yeah.
And then jump into Discord and do all those things, be sociable. But yeah, I've not seen a video from Kevin in a long, long time.
Yeah, that's kind of like a legacy position. Like, I built this thing, and then we can talk about FPV, but I'm not gonna fly anymore. Not saying that he doesn't fly. Like, he still enjoys flying, and we fly when he comes into town. But it's not like, I get it that I know his position, so it's not like he got out of it for any reason other than he just doesn't like being in the spotlight, which I can totally understand. Once you taste that spotlight, you either crave it or you don't, and I don't give a shit. I just trying to make an honest living and have fun doing it. So that's why I do it. That's why you don't see me fucking talking shit to people online every day, trying to stir things up with other pilots, because I really don't give a shit. I'm just putting my stuff out there, and if you care, then whatever. If you don't, then cool. I'll argue with you a little bit in the comments, but I'm not trying to go out of my way and waste my life arguing with some dude on YouTube.
Dear. Oh, good God. Right, a couple of questions coming in off the chat. Someone wants to know, can you build them a KISS converted Phantom?
I got one. Actually, it's right there. It's up on the fucking mantle. You can't see it. It's
all out of focus, yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. I can fix that.
Apparently, Sharpoo's in the chat.
Bullshit.
What? No, somebody. Hey. No.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
That is not him. Surely that's not him.
No, it's not.
It's
J-Ren FPV. You see it back there?
No. Oh, I can see it at the top left-hand corner. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's like right above my head, like right there.
Oh yeah.
Because that's a KISS V1, isn't it? In that or V2?
Yep, and KISS 30 amps. It's a V1, KISS 30 amps, like real old school.
That thing is epic. Right, what else is going on in the chat? That's definitely not Sharpoo in the chat. I'm sorry, but that's just.
It can't be.
No, it's not. It's got the same
No
bloody
way.
picture though, but someone's yanking my chain.
Someone's changed their name at the last minute.
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole Chad thing, what I was the way I was going, because this Saturday we're doing an unexpected live stream this Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning, but we are having Chad Novak on.
Very cool.
That'll
be fun.
Yeah, I spoke to him sort of like 3 years ago once on Facebook Messenger, and that's been about it. But yeah, I'd just be interested to see what he's up to lately, because he just kind of disappeared, didn't he?
I think he does a lot of commercial work.
Commercial stuff you think? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd just be nice to have a catch up, have a chat with him. Anybody else that you're still friends with and in contact with from Rotor Riot?
I mean, I'm all friends with them. We're all cordial. I don't fly with the people like I used to. I mean, I get out and fly, but it's like because I enjoy flying, but I don't get to hang out with crews. I think I fly with like random ass people more than I fly with people that you guys would know. I fly with a buddy of mine named David that's from Chattanooga, Mookie FPV. I fly with a buddy of mine in Florida. His name's Maxim FPV, or D's Nuts, or Steez. Whatever D's Nuts is backwards. I don't remember.
D's Nuts. Oh dear.
But yeah, I fly with him when he comes into town. Fly with Code Red. Like a lot of people that are kind of like legacy pilots, like people that have been around for, years, that you guys would probably know if you see it or heard the names. Yeah, or watched a video or something.
Yeah, Cody's awesome.
Yeah, Cody is amazing. He's one of
Florida.
Oh yeah, because you guys went to America, didn't you?
America.
Now, Malcolm Kelsey went to, I don't know what part of the States you went.
Florida.
You went to Florida.
Yeah, we did a lot. In fact,
scariest part.
one of our friends came and saw you in the van.
Jay.
Jay,
It was
when you were down at the flight testing,
Flight
Fest.
Fest.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah,
That was when I was trying to learn, or that was right before I started learning how to paramotor.
Leo FPV's been asking me to ask you, do you still fly the butt fan, Steele?
No,
Which
man,
I've worked out is you sold it, did you?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's just
Why
too
is
much
that?
money sitting around.
Oh, fair.
I mean, it's literally like to me, it was like a $10,000 lawnmower. Like I used it like once every 2 weeks, and it was just like sitting in my garage. It's like, yeah, I mean, I was very particular about the weather that I flew into because I'm not trying to die, so I'd be very specific. And it would take up a lot of time. I mean, you would designate, oh, I'm going to fly today. The weather's looking good. And then you'd say from 3 p.m. to whatever dark it's going to be, whether it's 6, 9, didn't matter. You're going to essentially 3 p.m. for the rest of the day. You're thinking about what you're going to do, where you're going to go, who you're going to fly with. If you're going to get up in the air at 6, if you're going to get up in the air at 7, you got to prep your gear. It's like a whole new hobby of time that I don't have. And also it took up the fact that I love to fly at sunset. That's when the calmest winds are, the lighting is the best, and I was just like sacrificing that for being able to fly paramotors when the thing that I do that makes money and makes me who I am, I can't even do it because I'm doing something else that's kind of cool, but it's not as cool. I don't think there's a lot more risk for something that's a lot slower. Community is a lot smaller. People are a lot more varied in age and beliefs. I don't know. It's just like not as, I don't find, like with FPV, I find so many people that are so similarly like-minded to me that it just makes it that much better. Where when I get into paramotors, like I'd go out somewhere and I don't know, literally the opposite of the spectrum would show up. And he's just like, I like flying butt fans. And you're like, oh, all right, well, let's go up in the air and we won't go to dinner and have a conversation about politics afterwards.
Oh god.
So
right, are you still alright for time? Are you alright for time at the moment, or do you?
I'm good.
You're good. People are asking about your racing rig.
Yeah.
So you're not your quad, your simulator.
Yeah. What about it?
They just said tell us about the sim.
Tell you about it. All right.
Because I mean, I watched the video of you building your driving sim and stuff like that, and the fuck ton of money you put in it.
I don't really go lightly when I buy things, do I?
You think?
I mean, I just allocate different funds from the paramotor to this or whatever. So I it's not like I'm just throwing money away. I like justify things very hard before I end up spending the money. And I also don't like buying. I mean, I've wanted one of these things for 10, 15 years now. So I couldn't justify just going out and getting a G27 or something like that. Because a buddy of mine, actually it was my uncle, he had like a full setup at one point. He had like a G27 set up in a cockpit with like Gran Turismo on a big screen. And it was just shit. Like I drove it and I was like, I mean, for all of this money, I would rather play it on a controller. It was like different, but it wasn't exactly what I assumed it would be like. So I had that kind of image burned in my mind of someone that had spent a pretty decent amount of money getting this set up, and then it wasn't what I expected. So when I started looking into it, I just went all out and dove deep into the thing. And I actually stumbled across a YouTube channel called Sim Racing Garage, a guy named Barry Rowland.
All right, yeah.
And anyways, he's like trying to think of like what it would be. It'd be like if you took all the people in FPV that know things about FPV that review shit and you like melted them into one person. and then made all of their videos like 45 minutes to 3 hours long. And it was like the most in-depth thing you've ever heard in your life, where they take apart things down on the component level and talk about them. That's this guy, but he does it for sim racing. So like every component that's ever been created for sim racing, this guy has basically talked about it in some video, and it's usually 45 minutes long because he takes it apart, shows you what's inside of it, shows you how it works, puts it back together, tests it, tunes it, gets it all set up. So I was just watching one of his videos one night, and saw a couple mini quads on the wall and hit him up. And I was like, hey, do you know who I am? And he's like, hell yeah, I've been watching your videos for like 2 years. And I was like, well, hey, if I send you a quad, will you fucking help me out, like set this rig up? So I essentially built him a Steele quad and just straight up gave it to him. And he essentially, got me going. We had a chat for like 6 hours. I mean, we chat all the time now. We're like good friends now. But in the beginning, it was just like a 6 hour consulting of just telling me everything that was good and what sucked and what I should get.
Is sending people like a Mr. Steele quad like almost like a currency for you?
It is. Yeah.
I can literally buy anything. Do you want to do this for me? Nah. Do you want a quad? Yeah, I'll do that for you. Is that pretty much how it goes?
I've had a plumber an AC guy come over. I paid him with a quad. I'm trying to think of who else I've.
Do you want money or a quad?
Well, ultimately, it works out better for me because I get the stuff at cost. So it doesn't really. It's not that big of a deal, but it's essentially a lot for them, because if you were to go out and try to buy this stuff new, especially built, you're going to spend close to $1,000. So to them, it's worth X amount. Like the guy that fixed my AC unit, he was just like fixing it. He's like, here's your bill. It was like $600-700. And I was working on a quad, and he's like, what the hell is this stuff? I was like, hold on, let me show you. So I gave him a pair of goggles and went outside and blew his mind. And then I was like, yeah, I've been flying a couple weeks. And he had no idea who I was or like my skill level or anything. He could just tell I was pretty good at it. So I was like, yeah, I fly these things. It's kind of fun. He's like, well, how much would it be to get all this stuff like set up? And I literally just set him up with everything that I use, and it ended up costing like $2,000 or something like that out of his pocket. But still, I mean, I built it for him in front of him. And I've had people do this in the past. They like want to come over and watch me build it and show people that like basically have more money than time, and they want to like crash course in getting like whatever the top tier pro level stuff. Because I mean, $2,000 to someone that buys Porsches and goes out on the weekend and blows tires off of them on a track is nothing. So, to spend 12 hours with a pro in an area that they don't even know about, to tell them all the things that they are going to experience in a short condensed lesson with all the pro knowledge, but none of the bullshit that they have to go through. Whether or not they retain it all is another thing, but at least they heard it all at one point in time. So yeah, it's a long day, and I usually charge a lot for that, because if I got someone there watching me like build shit, it's kind of annoying. But for the right price, anybody can fucking sit there and hover over my ass and watch me solder up some bullshit.
Oh, God's sake.
So.
That's kind of I can't do that. I don't know. I just, because I'm not you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Nobody wants my shit. You know what I mean? But,
okay.
Right. Ethics. Who was behind Ethics? Who literally started it? Is it all yours, or is there a partnership, or is there a team of you?
Yeah. So all right. So Ethics is basically the Mr. Steele brand fork. So I started a relationship with Trappy in 2014, and we went to Drone Nationals. He funded me to go to Drone Nationals. We ended up meeting in person and kind of hitting it off. And like, I looked up to TBS and Trappy. That was like what got me into FPV. So when I was I made a video and he commented on it in 2014, and it like blew my mind because I was watching all their videos and like freaking out. And then I ended up hitting him up, and I was like, hey, like, you don't really have any mini quad pilots. Would you ever want to sponsor one? And he's like, I guess, we could figure something out. So he ended up sending me a couple parts for free, and I helped them prototype the like power cube and shit like that. And yeah, long story short, we essentially grew this relationship. And then I don't know I guess not too many people know this story, but with Lumineer, like so 2016, late 2015, we went to Hawaii. Like, this is where Rotor Riot was inception. Like, the inception of Rotor Riot happened as well.
Oh yeah.
So Drone Nationals happened. All of the guys got together. We were like fucking unstoppable at that point. All of our, personalities, we had figured each other out. We were like, these guys are cool. These guys are shitty. And, Sharpoo and Chad and Tommy and just all of these people were all cool to hang out with. Unlike sometimes you meet your peers and they're assholes. But all these guys were fucking cool as shit. And we were like, we got to fly more. And we ended up, I think since Chad Nowak, Scott Refsland had invited him to go to Hawaii to scout for the Drone Nationals,
right,
or Drone Worlds. And basically, like, Tim Nielsen got word of it, the guy that owned Get FPV at the time. And he was like, well, I'm going to invite Steele and I'm going to invite Sharpoo. And then Immersion RC was like, oh, well, I'm going to invite Tommy. And then it just turned into this giant clusterfuck of people that were big in the industry that all transcended on Hawaii all at one time. And we all went there and kind of met. That's where I met Chad Capper in person. And I had learned some stuff from Flight Test in the past, so I was pretty like excited to meet the guy. And anyways, we hit it off. Everybody was good. And at the end of that trip, Tim Nielsen hit me up and he was like, hey, would you ever want to like make a custom motor? Because I was flying Cobra at the time. And the 2204 2300 kV was like the standard. And I was like, yeah, I really want a motor, but it would have to be a 2205 and like a 2400. Like, we wanted a little bit more power, but not too crazy because we were already over amp drawing everything that was out there on 4S. So I was like, all right, let's do that. And he's like, well, I'm going to have to look into it. So he spent like 3 months looking into it, trying to see if T-Motor could do it because that's who was making their motors at the time. And then he was like, look, it's going to take a little longer because I'm going to just end up opening my own factory because I'm tired of dealing with T-Motor. I'm just going to like build my own factory from scratch and that'll be the first motor that comes out of it. I was like, okay, so whatever. So he apparently spent like 300 grand on motor or on like winding machines and people and like rented this space in Hong Kong or Shenzhen, I don't remember where, and built this motor factory and had all these engineers over there. And after about a year and a half, maybe not quite that long, maybe about a year went by, I still haven't received a prototype of this motor that I wanted. But in the meantime, he was like, I'll give you guys some 2206 2300K or 2350 kV. I don't know if you remember those Lumineer motors. There was this 2206 2350 that was like super buttery smooth and everybody switched to it.
Yeah, I had them.
So the reason everyone switched to them is because Tim was like, all right, guys, I want you to fly my motors, but I don't have the motor that Steele and I are working on yet. So what I do have is this 2206 2350 motor, which is essentially a rebranded T motor. And I'll send everyone that wants it. All you got to say is like, I want it and give me your address in the chat. And it was like a big group chat with all the people that went to Hawaii, and you'll get 20 motors. So 5 sets or 4 sets, 5 sets. So anyways, everyone did that. They all got them. Everyone started flying those motors because they got them for free. And later, when the motor that I was supposed to get came, I put it on the quad and it underperformed compared to the 2206, unsurprisingly. So I was like, Tim, this motor's shit. And not only did it not perform, but the magnets just fucking exploded out of the bottom of it. And I was like, I can't even test it because every time I go to fly, the magnets fly out of it. And he's like, well, we're working on the glue. It's kind of a hard thing. When it heats up, it falls out. I'm like, obviously, that's a problem you probably should have fixed before you sent me some motors to fly. But teething happened. A couple months went by. I got another set. And eventually, the magnets fell out again. And he's like, just super glue them in and test them, and we'll figure out the thing before we go into production. I'm like, no, you fucking figure this out now because my name's on it. And if we go into production and it's a problem, then it's going to make me look bad. So moral of the story is I just eventually was like, fuck it. I'm done. I'm stepping away from this project. They ended up sorting that motor out and it became the Schizo motor, the V2. So, the purple motor, that's a 2205 with the ceramic bearings. Yeah, that was all me saying I wanted that. It all happened and then it didn't perform the way that I wanted it to. So I just scrapped the whole project, and they just kept the whole project and rebranded it. So, and then at that point, Trappy had gotten wind that I had just said, fuck Lumineer. And he was like, hey, you want to, try to make some motors? I was like, sure, but I'm kind of, got a bad taste in my mouth. So, what can you offer? And he was like, well, I have a small motor manufacturer. It's like 2 dudes. They make like these custom big motors for like heavy lift drones, and they hand wind them all. And he's like, I'll just tell them to make 40 different motors, all different stator sizes, all different KVs, all different magnets. And I'll have them give me the data sheets on all of them, and then you can pick which ones you want. So he did that, made 40 motors, all different stator sizes from like 1804 all the way up to like 2508 or something like that. And I ended up picking the 2306 based on its weight and power. And then we ended up changing the winding and changing the magnet. And that's when the Steele V1 came out. And actually took those to Drone Nationals 2016. And that was when I was sponsored by SMC, which is a battery company.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I left SMCs, because I was flying the 2206s before. And then when I went to Drone Nationals, I had these SMCs that were like prototypes that I had been working on for like a year to try to, I literally had gone through like 50 different batteries. They were all different form factors. We were working with like flat batteries to see if it would dissipate heat better, and smaller batteries and more condensed, like square batteries, and just ridiculously low internal resistance batteries. And eventually we got to this battery that was amazing, but it only lasted like 3 cycles and then it would die. And especially on like these really power hungry motors. So I ended up putting them on there and killed 3 batteries in my freestyle runs because they overamp drawed them. So I ended up going with a weaker magnet, and that's how like the V1 Steele came out. It was essentially that same motor but with a weaker magnet so that it didn't draw as much power. And I left SMC because I killed all their fucking batteries that they were going to come out with them. And I was like, these are great for racers because they're amazing, but you can't sell a battery that dies after 3 cycles. It doesn't matter how much it costs. If it was $4, people are still not going to buy it, even if it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Chaos, what have you got there?
The V1 Steele.
I got the V1s.
Dang. Those are vintage.
Yeah.
Do you even use that anymore?
No, not this one. This was the one you got me for my birthday.
Yeah, that's a very, very first self-build quad.
It looks pretty good.
It's got a little...
Chameleon.
Joint one, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then this was the one you got me for my birthday.
Is that got little bees on it?
Yeah.
Nice, classic.
Why is it not caught fire yet?
Have a clue how it's not, to be fair.
Because it's not been flown in so long.
It was my first build. I think I did okay. It didn't set on fire,
fly,
so it probably would still fly, to be honest.
We're gonna.
Good God.
We should actually plug it in and see if it'll fly.
It's waiting.
It's waiting for the fire.
Yeah.
Do it offline.
Jay Wren in the chat asks Steele, any more plans for any more car projects?
Car projects?
Yeah, because obviously you've had the Jazz, you've got the Siege, you've got a Tesla, you've got an Impreza as well, haven't you?
No, I sold that.
Oh, you sold that.
Sold it.
So what he's asking, is there going to be another car?
Yes, always.
Always.
Did you order the Cybertruck?
Yeah.
You did?
Within 30 seconds of it launching, so
I saw that.
I'll be like one of the first to have it. I hope it'll fit. I hope it will fit in my garage. That's that's the only thing. If not, I'm gonna have to fucking fix my garage or not park it inside.
Did you order it before or after they smashed the window?
I don't care. I'll take the smashed windows. I actually really like the Model Y. I think if I didn't have a Tesla already, I would buy a Model Y over the Cybertruck and the Model 3. But since I have a Model 3 and I can't justify trading it for a Model Y, and the only thing significantly different enough that I can afford is a Cybertruck, might as well do that.
Isn't a Cybertruck like more expensive than a P100?
What? Cybertrucks are like, oh, no. So a Model S, a Model X, they start out at like 90 grand US, or 99 grand US. A Model 3 starts out at like 40. A Model Y starts out at like 42. Cybertruck starts out at like 40. So like fully maxed out, a Model 3, Model Y, and a Cybertruck are all around 70 US, and fully maxed out Model S and X are pushing the 130 range. So it's almost double the price.
Damn.
Yeah. So, and I can't buy a base model, so I got to buy the cheaper car that's maxed out.
You gotta have those
Go hard to
gadgets.
go home, right?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Because I mean, literally nothing will catch a Model S over the quarter-mile range.
Well, so this is the thing. So I learned this recently because I was kind of sad when I bought my Model 3 Performance, and I was like, oh, the 0 to 60 is like 3.2, and I could have got a Model
That's
S.
still a quick car.
Oh, it's fucking stupid. It rapes everything on the road. Like, no one has ever even come close, even on the highway pole. Like, even a highway pole, it's just where it's the worst. It'll still just, like, pull on stuff hard. But I was so pissed because it does, whatever, 3.2, 0 to 60. But then, like, obviously the Model S does 2.4. But you have to, like, go into these modes and, like, set it up to do that. Where the Model 3 just, like, does it all the time. You could be sleeping and then just floor it and it'll be like, oh, same 0 to 60 every time. Where in the Model S, you got to set it up and it's a heavier car, so it's a little bit harder on tires. Like I know a couple or Tesla techs that work. Well, I know one major Tesla tech and I know another dude that works there, but he's always like, how are your tires doing? Because he sees cars come in after like 3,000 or 4,000 miles that are just blown through their Michelins. And I'm like, how the hell are people killing tires that bad? Like, it sounds like me in the Lotus. I went through a set of tires in like 1,700 miles.
Jesus.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's got like 14,000 on it. The tires don't even look like they've been touched. They look brand new.
You're not driving it hard enough.
Oh, I drive it hard. Like, it's weird. I don't know why they're... So I think the thing is like when they initially align the cars from the factory, they don't do that great of a job. And since it's a heavier car, because I mean, if you got to align 100 cars a day, you're not really too worried about specifically getting it perfect. So when I got the car, the steering wheel was slightly crooked and it fucking pissed me off. So I went to go pick up a fucking whatever $70,000 car, and I get in it and it's like the wheel's crooked. So I went up to the store or to my buddy's shop up here at Toyota up the street from me, and we put it on the alignment rack and like meticulously aligned it to where it was perfect. And not only was the steering wheel crooked, but like toe in was a little fucked out in the rear. Like it just wasn't set up optimally. So I set it up, and now it just doesn't kill tires. And I think that's kind of the problem. I think some of the cars from the factory are just aligned just enough to where it gets by, but it's enough to like mess up tires over a pretty short amount of road usage.
Leo in the chat says that the Ethics Prius is incoming, apparently.
The Ethics the Cybertruck? No, I did post a thing. I would wrap the Cybertruck if we hit 5,000 likes on this one picture, but it only got like 3,800, so can't do that.
Oh, what?
Oh well.
Is I don't know the price of the Roadster, the Tesla Roadster, but that's like
$250.
Is it 250,000? Is that dollars?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, for the base model.
Oh, that sucks, because that's close to 300,000 in pounds then.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's close to like 170, 180.
Yeah, it's less.
Yeah, sorry.
Pounds are worth more, yeah.
And then he sent it to space.
I put one in space. Can we just have it back? I'm quite happy to have that one. It'd be a little bit burnt on the way down, but I'll quite happily have it. Crispy, yeah, absolutely. Right, we're out of time, and I think we've kept you long enough, Mr. Steele. Thank you very much for joining us.
One more question, Shane.
Go on, yeah, go on.
So, Steele, we know you've been around the world. You've done the Stairway to Heaven, Hawaii. You've done the Great Wall of China. You've done the Woodpecker radio mast in Chernobyl.
Mm.
Any new adventures on the horizon? Heard whispers of some colder climates, shall we say? High altitude stuff?
Yeah, there was a point in time where I was supposed to go to Everest and fly, but that was like canceled, obviously, because of COVID. Yeah, I mean, people have done it, but no one's like mini quad flown it, and the glacier field below Everest is supposed to be pretty awesome. and the temperatures aren't as extreme as most people would think. From what I've heard, it's like, on a good day you can get it up in the 70s, which is, I don't know, what is that in Celsius? 30 or not even? No, it's like 25.
No, it's less than that.
But
Stephen knows he's in Scotland. He's just cold all year round.
We average 8, 9, possibly 10 degrees every day.
Oh man, that's too cold.
Yeah,
that is too cold. We've luckily has the weather climate in general been different for you guys this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely stunning. It's been beautiful.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Lack of air
Gone,
traffic, I
completely.
put it down to keeping the turbulences down.
Yeah, I would say the same because it's been fucking phenomenal here.
Yeah.
Like literally since March, it has been primo weather, like California weather every single day.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
Maybe we should just burn the airlines. Like, fuck it. We can use boats again.
Yeah.
I must admit, ever since we went into lockdown, the weather just changed instantly.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
everybody's like, stay indoors. You can't go out. Stay indoors. And it's been like a summer's day
Beautiful.
every freaking day ever since.
Yeah, it makes me feel super jealous or super shitty. Like I'll be in here and I'm like, God, why can't it just fucking rain so I can not go outside? So it's been like that every day. I feel guilty sitting in here on the computer all the time. Because I mean, I got the windows open right now. It's fucking June in Atlanta. It should be melting people's panties off, and it's like, I mean, I'm wearing long pants and I'm comfortable. Obviously, I'm inside, but the windows are open, so it's the same temperature as it is outside.
Oh, no, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, and the window's open.
Yeah.
Admittedly, 10 minutes ago we had a thunderstorm, but it's
which-
now clear skies and like
We had some hail yesterday. I think it was like ridiculous.
just randomly out of nowhere.
Yeah. All right, it's gone.
Oh dear. Right, yeah, we must end it because it is that time. We are running over time, and we've kept Steele more than we actually said we were going to. But I do want to thank you for coming on. You've been an absolute gentleman. We don't care about the swearing. It's fine. It's all cool.
Yeah, I always forget, but sometimes it's like, I think people. One quick note: swearing. I feel like more people that I meet they're honest. They're more honest when they swear for some reason. If you get someone that's like, it feels like they're hiding something if they're trying to like keep it all kosher.
Yeah, yeah. Agreed.
Like, what do you got to hide right there? You're not fucking saying something.
See, I don't normally swear on the show because I don't.
Because you're trying not to get demonetized.
Yeah.
I can't help it, man.
But
when I'm talking to people and having a good time, it just comes out.
Yeah, but I mean, you swearing brings out my swearing.
That's right.
I mean,
It's contagious.
Yeah, I'm
It's like COVID.
I'm ex-mechanic, so you know what I mean. Like, the
That's
garage
standard.
Yeah, the garage banter is like every other word has to be a swear word, as you're not accepted in the motor trade at all.
Yeah.
So you swearing has just brought my swearing out, which is great. But yeah,
Well.
none of these guys have sworn all night.
Yeah. Talk some more. Start spitting some stuff out. You guys got some sweet slang that I don't even know what it means.
No.
I thought you wouldn't
Talk
hear
about
it.
the
Oh.
growler.
Stephen in Scotland, he's got a whole new language that none of us even know.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be part of the UK.
Yeah. We still are for now, I think. Who knows these days?
And Ashley's in Wales, for God's sake.
That's the worst, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not Welsh, luckily.
You're not Welsh.
English moved to Wales.
You're too tall to be Welsh.
See,
Yeah, that's it. I can differentiate myself from the rest of the woolly sheep.
Willy sheep.
Have you?
oh yeah, you didn't know. They have a flying group in Wales or in Cardiff, it's like South Wales, and it's called Team Woolly Sheep.
I hope you have like the most epic mascot ever.
Yeah, it's a sheep wearing FPV goggles, showing his ass looking the other way.
I like that. I like that. Holy sheep. Wow, my face hurts.
But they've got their whole language. If you ever look up road signs in Wales, literally, if you want to type in Welsh, you take some sellotape, right, and you glue down the letter L on your keyboard.
And the Y.
Right, and the Y. And then you just type in English as you would normally, and it would just inject double L's and double Y's everywhere through your language. And that's Welsh.
Google some town names.
Yeah, look up town names.
That's strange.
I
had a Welsh friend in like primary school, but he was like really trying hard not to be Welsh, so I never got to see that. Like everyone that moves, especially when you're young and you're like new to a place, they're like, oh, I don't want to show where I'm from, even though it's like obvious that you're not from here. I don't know.
I can't think what the Welsh word for mini quad would be, because our word for microwave is popty ping.
What?
And I went, have you not heard that? No. Microwave, the Welsh word for it is popty ping.
Is that jellyfish? Is that hyphenated or is
I don't think so. Never written it down.
Popty ping.
Popty ping. So mini quad, I don't know what that would be.
Oh,
swooshy whoosh or something.
Are any of the Team Woody Chick guys in the chat?
They must be.
Surely they must be there supporting you.
Not anymore.
No.
No.
You're banished from the flying club now.
I am anyway in Wales, aren't I? Lockdown rules.
For now.
Oh dear. Leo's in there because Leo's that area, isn't he?
No, Leo's Bristol.
Bristol,
which is where I'm actually from. I'm from, so that's.
He's
that's
across
okay.
a bridge. There's only a bridge between you.
Have you guys seen Leo? He's lost so much weight.
I know.
Yeah,
he's done well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks good. Congratulations, Leo, for getting yourself in shape. It's a serious achievement.
That's a first for this show.
Not associate me with that country, Leo says.
Yeah, because we are everybody in obviously on this stream. We are all over the UK. So I'm in Plymouth, so I'm as south as you can go.
Mm-hmm.
James is in Tavistock. He's in the countryside, but just above me. Malk and Kelsey are in Warrington, so you're kind of Liverpool area there.
Northwest,
Yeah. Ashley, you're in Cardiff.
I'm in Swansea, so I'm west of Wales.
Right. Okay.
Southwest, yeah.
And Stephen's just off the map. He's off the map. He's freaking up there somewhere. But he's as far north as you could possibly go, I think.
They had to draw him in on another page. They like taped it on. Drew it up there.
So yeah.
Seriously though, Steele, I'm outside of Edinburgh, so I'm like the lowlands of Scotland at that point.
Crazy.
And he drinks a lot of iron brew.
No,
Iron
I hate this stuff.
Do you even know what iron brew is?
No, I don't know what that is. What's iron brew?
It's we call it a fizzy drink. You call it soda.
Pop.
A pop.
Soda.
A soda. Yeah. It's orange. It glows in the dark.
Is it
and
is
it
it
has
Fanta?
No, it's worse than that. It's like a neon orange.
Is it a cream pop or something?
No.
It's just a weird.
It is iron brew though.
It's 60 billion E numbers is what it is.
Yeah.
Put theirs on your chest.
No, put hairs on everything, and they have it for breakfast. And
People do, yeah.
and this will get. This is a delicacy in Scotland, right? They deep fry Mars bars, like they batter Mars bars.
And Cadbury's cream eggs.
And Cadbury's
What
cream
is
eggs.
the rate of heart attacks
in Scotland? I don't know. They're also
Try
fresh.
new things, man. Try new things.
Didn't somebody batter or deep fry a pizza the other day?
Trying things doesn't reinvent anything.
But yeah, that's the crazy shit they get up to in Scotland.
That's crazy.
But I think Steele commented on one of Steve's videos where you dived, because you went to the Island of Skye, Steve, didn't you? And did some long range and diving. And I think you, Steele, commented on one of his videos. I think I might be right, I might be wrong.
What is the video?
When I was up in Skye last year, Steele, I've sent you a couple of video clips from diving at the V in the mountain structure. Sent it to your Instagram, and we had a quick chat about it and stuff. So
Crazy. Yeah, I have to go back and look and see what I was doing.
see what you were smoking at the time.
Yeah,
I do comment on a lot of shit. Like it's funny. I'll go. I go randomly into my DMs and like find people that probably would never think that I would reply to them, and I'll just fucking blow them up and like inundate them, and they're like, they don't know what to do. Not that happens all the time, but it's crazy. My DM situation gets out of control because it's just like it's hard to just send people a okay or something like that if they're trying to have a genuine conversation. But then it's hard to hold like 30 genuine conversations every day,
Yeah.
It's out of control.
This so-called Sharpoo FPV is still in the chat, and everybody seems to think that it is him.
It's not.
It's clearly not him. No way. Right, we are going to leave you now because we are massively over time, and obviously you've got places to be. But I do want to thank you ever so much for coming on. You've been an absolute gentleman. We touched base on the Oda stuff. We all know what you're doing recently, but I was more interested in the Oda stuff, where you came from and what's made you what you are today. So I hope everybody enjoyed the show. But yeah, once again, thank you so much for coming on. I mean, you didn't have to. We are only a small show, and you didn't ask for any money.
Yet.
Damn
I was going to say, what? There's offer of money? What?
I can build you a quad.
I'll take it. I want that cat.
You don't get paid.
What's wrong with my cat? What's wrong with the cat?
No, I want it.
Yeah, beautiful cat.
He's ginger and he's got a real attitude problem.
Yeah,
It's only with you.
He's not. He's an utter asshole.
He's got a lot of fur.
Oh yeah, he's a faux pedigree Persian, but he's not flat faced.
That's racist.
It's no, Persians normally have a flat face. They look like they've been hit with a frying pan.
That's really racist.
But he has a normal shaped face for a cat. But yeah, there's a lot of fur.
That's crazy. And he loves laptops, so if you have a keyboard, prepare it to be fully engulfed in hair.
Oh yeah, if it's on during the day or something like that, and there's work on it, I'll come back up and it looks like he's typed Welsh across the screen.
It looks like those bins behind you are lit up. Do you have lights in your bins?
No.
No.
There's a neon down the side here. I think it's just a reflection of it.
Oh, it's like straight up looks like they're glowing, like you got LEDs in them or something.
No. It's a good thought. I might actually do that for the next show, actually.
Oh, look out.
Look out.
Look at it.
watch out for that bokeh.
What else we got? Oh, there's a skateboard. There is a
Don't they look
skateboard.
like they're glowing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is.
They're all color-coded as well.
They are. That's because my wife thinks she's Monica.
She's got a list for everything.
Everything's color coordinated in the right order by size, and then alphabetically arranged, and then if she runs out, it's numerically ranged, and then gets put over there. Still, your ethics stock has never been so organized in its life.
I don't think. Yeah, mine's just like exploded in a corner in my basement.
I'll send the wife over. She'll clean that shit right up.
I need it. My whole life is just a cluster of stuff. Too much stuff.
Dear me. Right, we will let you go for the third time, but yes, thank you for coming on. Because we keep talking again and we're massively over time. But from everybody watching, thank you for joining us. And it's a goodbye from the team. So say goodbye, team.
Goodbye, team.
See you later.
Bye, team.
And thank you very much, Steve, for joining us. And goodbye and good night, everybody. And we're gone.